Hello guys, I'm Ryan Wright.
I'm Andrew.
Andrew and I today are gonna review the final film in the trilogy from the 70s, Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Thumbnail, Andrew. I'm adding a lightsaber. I don't know how to add a lightsaber. Sorry for the thumbnail, guys.
Yeah.
So, Return of the Jedi. I love some of the action scenes in this movie so much. One of my favorite action sequences of all time, hands down, is the moment Luke and Leia, they hop on like those speeder bikes and they're going through the forest having the whole chase sequence. To this day, holds up. Like, it's still a great action sequence. And you're not like, this feels so outdated, you know? Like, it looks wonderful.
That's all I was thinking. I was like, wow, this still looks fantastic. And I really feel like I'm flying through the air with them. And I couldn't believe it was 1983 they filmed that. Yeah. It completely holds up. Like you said, a couple things I like too. The cinematography on the film, I thought was really well done. They did a great job holding the camera still, especially on action scenes. So it was very clear to tell. The effects really still hold up. Like we said, for the most part, there's a few scenes, obviously here and there, where it looks like the 80s. Definitely that scene on Endor, the battle above Endor, the lightsaber duel between Vader and Luke. I mean, there's definitely a lot of positive things in this film. The characters, they're still them. They're great. Han, Luke, and Chewie and Leia. It was a nice way to end it, for sure. I felt it could have been a definitely...
I think it was a safe way.
Yeah, definitely.
The movie, I felt, played it way too safe.
For sure.
Empire Strikes Back ends on one of the edgiest notes you could have ended on.
Yeah.
Some of the best practical effects I've ever seen is this movie, Return of the Jedi.
Absolutely.
Especially in that first half hour at Jabba's palace.
Yeah, on the sail barge too. Oh,
yeah,
man.
Like, all of them made me kind of want to vomit. They were so disgusting looking.
I completely agree.
In a realistic way. The Jabba world was cool. Only thing that was bothering me a little bit was C-3PO. They made him way too whimsical.
Comic relief.
Yeah, there was like too much. Like, he was funny in the first two because he's C-3PO. This time around it was like, let's really give him a lot of fucking jokes. Jabba's palace though, I love that environment. It's like the gangster world of Tatooine, you know?
And like I said earlier, my favorite character in Jabba's palace by far, Salacious Crumb, the monkey lizard. I love that character. It's so funny, and there's a lot of great characters in there, and if you were fortunate enough to not see the special edition, you got to finally see Jabba for the first time while watching this movie instead of that crappy version that you saw in A New Hope.
He lives up to the disgusting reputation that he has.
For sure, and he
is malicious, soulless, and he's just this giant fucking fat monster.
And and the puppeting on Jabba is just really well done. Again, like I said on the Empire review, if you didn't do the puppeting right for like Yoda, it wouldn't have worked. It would have taken us way out of the scene. But again, the puppeting was very well done on these films.
Princess Leia's outfit.
Oh,
she got in shape for that. To this day, it's like, I know you're a rather much older lady now, but looking at you back in the 80s, you were banging.
Damn.
You were banging.
Not as sexy, but for sure cool when she was dressed as a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
And she freed Han. I thought that was such cool gear she was wearing, and really well done. And they definitely made Leia
much more sexy.
Yeah, well, definitely that too. But I love how they never have her as a damsel in distress. She's always a badass. Who's the one who kills Jabba? Right? Is it Han or Luke? No, it's Leia. She takes that chain and wraps it around. It's like
that was a good choice of who to kill Jabba.
Yeah.
Because people might have been like, Han's probably gonna kill Jabba.
Yeah.
Then no, Luke's gonna do it. But she's the one who really deserved it for being a fucking like slave.
Yeah,
you know.
It's funny you say it. From what I understand, Carrie Fisher told the director Richard Marquand and the writers, she basically told them like, if I'm gonna wear this sex labor outfit, the slave outfit, then I'm gonna be the one who kills Jabba. And that was the absolute right decision to have Carrie Fisher do that. They definitely made Leia badass, which I like.
However, I hate the scene when Luke tells her that Leia is Leia's his brother.
What, you didn't think her reaction was believable to finding out Darth Vader was her father and Luke was her brother, the one she made out?
It was horrible, Andrew. It was horrible, and I greatly disagree with how you truly feel about that.
While watching this scene, I kind of somewhat understood where they were going, but I was like, this is unbelievable. How is she reacting so calm to finding out Darth Vader is her father, and the man you made out with one scene was your brother from a previous movie ago, and it's just total calm reaction. Like, I'm like, shouldn't your world be like...
It seemed like she was adjusting to it.
Yeah.
It's like you can't argue that she was in shock, because she wasn't. Yeah. She was like, I'm surprised, but I kind of knew already, you know? I think of when Luke found out Darth Vader was his dad.
Oh, you bought
that reaction.
Oh,
fucking awesome. Fucking awesome. Fucking awesome.
Oh, totally authentic.
Leia and Luke, their scene, I was like, this seems like out of a soap opera right now. The whole time, even after they know that, I still feel like they have sexual chemistry.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna argue that. It was definitely
It's kind of hot.
yeah.
That's pretty hot.
Maybe some brothers and sisters are into that. Not my thing, but I mean, good
Luke
for.
will use the Force in that one, right?
Oh, I mean, after
Yeah.
seeing her in the slave thing, who can blame him, right? But still,
Yeah, sister or not.
yeah, I didn't buy that reaction at all. I would imagine someone finding out Darth Vader, the most evil man in the world, is your father. You're gonna freak out just
Your
a little
number
bit.
one enemy. You're the leader of the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Like,
no, I agree. That definitely took me out of it. And another big, I wouldn't say negative, but just something that just didn't feel Star Wars and took me out of the film, the Ewoks. I mean,
yeah.
and again, from originally they were supposed to be Wookiees, not Ewoks.
That would have been cooler.
Oh, would have been so much better. And I guess they went back to that in Revenge of the Sith when we were on the planet Kashyyyk. We had a bunch of Wookiees.
But we would have gotten practical effect.
No. I'm just saying he ended up going back to it. But I would have rather him, George Lucas and Richard Marquand, added Wookiees to this. I guess the reason was they couldn't afford the costumes. It cost too much money. Yeah, they can't afford something in Star Wars.
Two films are the most successful films of all time.
No, I know.
And they can't get a little bit of extra money.
No, definitely a lazy excuse. Return of the Jedi, as a kid growing up, it was by far my favorite Star Wars movie.
Too.
And anyone who argued with me that Empire or New Hope were better, I still enjoyed those movies, but I'd get in arguments on why Return was way better. Now, having viewed those as an adult, Empire and New Hope are just, I mean, they're just...
This Return of the Jedi is meant for kids. Like,
it really is.
I'm watching it, and I'm like, they PG'd it way too much. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like Empire has like an edgy, like, it felt like an edgy PG-13 film. From my understanding, it's still PG, right?
Yes, they're all PG except for Revenge of the Sith and the new one, Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Everything else is PG.
So when it came to the tone of it all, it seemed like, okay, no good characters ever seemed truly in danger or die.
Not at all.
The sense of humor about it, the lighthearted, like it was so lighthearted. Like the Ewoks, man, I'm gonna murder those kids. I'm really
They're having fun
I'm
out
gonna
there.
murder
You can't get mad at them, right?
Yeah, you can.
Hey, we were all kids once, right?
Yeah, but I wasn't a disrespectful little fuck. One thing I didn't like was they go to the Ewok world for like way too fucking long.
Endor.
Yeah, they go there way too fucking long.
Yeah, no, we
I'm
were
like,
there a
their
while.
tribe is not that interesting. We're spending way too much time feeling good with these guys.
Yeah.
It felt like Hook at that moment.
Oh, yeah, no, I was
Yeah.
thinking that too. I was like, when's Peter Pan showing
Yeah.
up, right? You gotta like how they went to the Deus Ex Machina of C-3PO as the god. Cool, I guess, but I mean, they never really also went into explanation on why they thought C-3PO was a god.
Yeah.
I will say that one cool scene in that whole thing was when C-3PO is basically laying the plot of New Hope and Empire. He's telling the Ewoks what has basically their journey has been up to this point. I thought that was pretty cool.
I don't know, like the violence in it could have been better too. Like Leia gets shot at one point.
In the arm, or in the shoulder.
And then, she saves the day when she shoots the two stormtroopers. But it doesn't seem like she's ever really in pain after that.
Yeah, there was no consequences to
I'm like,
any.
you just got shot, man.
Yeah, and also we were talking about this earlier. I mean, and again, we're happy that they ended it on a very happy note. That's always nice and dandy. How many of our main characters, or good characters, died in the film?
None.
None. And did you truly feel any of them were really in danger?
No, especially up against the stormtroopers they were up against, because the Ewoks were like taking them out with like a rock.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these suits are designed to withstand their armor.
Yeah.
A fucking Ewok throwing a rock at you should not be making you knock over. I get it when it's like a bunch of logs and shit, whatever.
Absolutely.
No, when I'm seeing moments where they're slingshotting a rock and they're like, whoa, like falling over.
And then catching the speeder bike. With no. I'll agree with you. There's definitely a few inventive ways that where the logs came under the ATSTs and they had logs driving in. There was definitely, when they worked together, it
made sense.
Yeah, it definitely worked. When you saw solo ones going after, throwing rocks, definitely didn't feel believable. But I will say, another part that really got on me was when the Emperor said to Luke, an alliance of my best troops is awaiting them, and then you see teddy bears with rocks are beating them.
Yeah.
It just took all the tension away from me.
I felt in Han Solo and all their journey, it felt like it was all going according to plan most of the time. Things were always turning out okay. There was no real danger other than there's a Death Star that's supposedly worse, but they never told us why it's worse.
Yeah, no, I agree. And also to add to your point, and something I told you earlier, speaking about how all these characters feel safe, Harrison Ford actually told George Lucas halfway through shooting, I want you to kill my character. I want you to kill me off. I don't exactly remember the reasons. I think I remember reading that Harrison Ford felt he had done all he could with the character and that was it. Lucky for us, he didn't die, so we get to see him in a day or two. But yeah, it was a film that felt very safe. Like in Empire, don't want to compare, but you really felt a moment. I mean, the characters were in the lowest places they could be. And there was always crazy situations. I love like in Empire when they can't get, the Millennium Falcon is not working. They can't get out of that situation.
No, they raised the stakes.
They build situations they can't just get out of, and in this it's like, I don't care if there's an ATST standing on, I know they're gonna get out of it. The tension just didn't feel the same.
I did like the story of Luke Skywalker though.
Great.
You know?
Absolutely. He's a badass.
When he does find out, yeah, he's a badass. I would like to have known how he became super badass.
From Empire
how he became like the Jedi.
Yeah, because he even says to Yoda, I've come back to complete the training. I know there was a year that went on between films, but I didn't understand where all that amazing, how he became, you know, from when he fought Vader to where we see him at the beginning of Jedi. He is completely improved as a Jedi.
But Mark Hamill does own that role.
Oh, he does. He's amazing.
The great thing about Luke Skywalker is he's different in all three films. Out of all the characters, he's the one who's definitively different in each one of the films.
Completely agree.
And he is like Jedi Master at that point. I like the cheesy, fun, philosophical story of give in to your anger, and he's not doing it. So I like that contrast. And I did, for the most part, like what happened with Darth Vader. One thing I thought was weird was he really tried playing father figure way too early on. Still, like, I felt the actor in this suit was able to...
David Prowse.
David Prowse was able to convey emotion of a more vulnerable Vader, giving the script what they needed, you know?
Absolutely, and I'd say the best example of what you just said, when the scene where the Emperor is force lightning Luke to death, if you didn't see the Blu-ray version where Vader yells no, it's stupid. Basically, Luke is being forced to lightning to death, and Vader is seeing, and he has to make a choice. Do I save my son, who's my only link to my dead and loving wife, Padme, or do I keep serving this man who keeps manipulating me and be his puppet? And again, you can't see Vader's eyes. The actor David Prowse just really conveyed
It's the conflict.
Yeah, you can tell he cannot stand watching his son being electrocuted. It was just such an amazing job where you cannot see any of his facial reaction. It's incredible. And then when the Blu-ray where they added the no, it's like, oh.
I gotta say though, man, when they showed Vader, like what he really looks like underneath, good scene, but I felt like Vader was a little miscast. I'm an overweight guy, but the guy they got for Vader, he was fucking big.
A little puffy. We're gonna be nice. We'll say puffy.
I wasn't expecting like such a fat Vader, to be honest.
And he looked skinnier when they re-showed him as the Force Ghost, I believe, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
And it looked totally different. I was like, this is the same actor?
That was so stupid.
I agree with you.
They added in Hayden Christensen.
Oh my God, why did they do that?
Why would he do that?
And my problem...
Like the most hated performance in the whole saga.
My problem with that is Luke Skywalker never met Anakin as Hayden Christensen. He only met Anakin when his dad was puffy white.
Why wasn't Obi-Wan Kenobi
why wasn't Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan? Yeah. Why wasn't the digital Yoda? It was just confusing for me. It was
confusing and it was unnecessary.
Very unnecessary.
Very unnecessary.
Like, you just took one of the things I hate about the prequels and added it into a movie I love.
At the end of the day, it still feels fun and it still has a lighthearted vibe of like the loving magic of Star Wars. It still feels like we're in the Star Wars universe.
Absolutely. No, we got our characters back. And also, I'm really upset I didn't mention this earlier, John Williams' score in the trilogy. I can't even explain how much that score means to me and how much it hits me. Every time I just hear that music, just the opening crawl, you feel, it's just, he just did an amazing job on all three films. And the music he had going on where Vader and Luke are fighting and Luke's letting his anger and rage on him. It's just such epic, beautiful music. Like, I don't even need to see the scene. I can listen to the music and I know exactly what's going on. He just really hits the spot on all his music. John Williams is the best composer of all time and just made Star Wars extra special with that music.
Well, guys, that's our review for Return of the Jedi. Let's give a rating here, Andrew. I give it 3 out of 5 cock sabers.
I'll give it 3.8 midichlorians. Right? Is that midichlorians? Is that what Lucas came up with to describe how a Jedi has, how you discover Jedi, guys? It's not the will of the Force, it's midichlorians, right? So
sounds like a condition.
Yeah.
You can subscribe to The Real Rejects. Andrew has a channel now, Movie Source. covers trailers. Movie reviews will be coming up soon. Check it out. It's good stuff, good discussions. And you didn't comment on my cocksaber thing.
Was just thrown off. I didn't expect you to say that, but that's an interesting lightsaber. Did you maybe for Halloween you can show it off? Not to me, but maybe like on Twitter or something, and I can see what a cocksaber is, but I have in my imagination.
The bounce off you did from my joke was not worthy. You are not worthy of the dark side.